Even if it's not a song you wrote, it's still fun to go in there and see what you can do, how you can make it.
In the world,
the king of country music himself, George Strait, has been making headlines in ways that will absolutely blow your mind. If you thought you knew everything about this legendary cowboy, think again. What's happening right now with George Strait is something that no one saw coming, and it's touching hearts across America in the most beautiful way possible. Picture this. You're sitting at home, scrolling through your phone, when suddenly you see news that makes you stop everything you're doing. That's exactly what happened to millions of fans when they heard about George Strait's latest incredible actions. The man who gave us hits like Amarillo Morning and Check Yes or No has done something so amazing that it's literally breaking the internet. Let me take you back to where this story begins. Texas Hill Country, a place known for its rolling hills, beautiful landscapes, and tight-knit communities, was hit by something terrible. Devastating floods swept through the area, destroying homes, businesses, and most heartbreakingly, taking lives. Entire communities were underwater. Families lost everything they had worked their whole lives for. Children's toys, family photos, and memories were all washed away in a matter of hours. When George Strait heard about this tragedy, he didn't just send thoughts and prayers like many celebrities do. No, this Texas legend rolled up his sleeves and decided to do something that would change everything. And what he did next is why everyone is talking about him right now. The king of country didn't waste a single minute. Within days of the flooding, George Strait announced something that left everyone speechless. He was going to host a benefit concert called Straight to the Heart in Bourne, Texas. But this wasn't going to be just any regular concert. This was going to be something special, something intimate, something that would bring hoppus to people who had lost everything. Now you might be thinking, lots of artists do benefit concerts. But what made this different was how George Strait approached it. He partnered with his longtime friend and businessman Tom Cusick, someone he's worked with for 15 years on charity events. Together, they planned something extraordinary in just 10 days. 10 days. Most concerts take months to plan, but George Strait made this happen in less than 2 weeks because he knew people needed help immediately. The concert was held at Estancia at Thunder Valley Indoor Arena, and it wasn't your typical stadium show. This was an intimate gathering where George Strait could look into the eyes of the people he was helping. Tickets started at $1,000, which might sound expensive, but here's the beautiful part. All the money was going directly to flood victims. Every single penny. And for the local first responders, the heroes who risked their lives during the floods, George Strait made sure they got free tickets. But wait, it gets even better. When the night of the concert arrived, George Strait had a surprise that no one expected. As he was performing, someone walked onto the stage who made the entire audience gasp. It was Garth Brooks. Yes, the Garth Brooks made a surprise appearance at George Strait's benefit concert. Can you imagine being in that audience? Two of the biggest names in country music performing together for such an important cause. The lineup for this special night was absolutely incredible. Along with George Strait and the surprise appearance by Garth Brooks, the stage featured William Beckman, Ray Benson, Wade Bowen, Dean Dillon, Riley Green, Randy Houser, Jamie Johnson, Kyle Park, and Hudson Westbrook. These weren't just random artists thrown together. These were carefully chosen performers who wanted to be part of something bigger than themselves. The magic didn't stop with just the music. George Strait's band, Ace in the Hole, was there too, providing the perfect soundtrack for an evening that would be remembered forever. The energy in that arena was electric, but it was also filled with emotion. People were crying, laughing, and healing all at the same time. It was country music at its finest, bringing people together during their darkest hour. Now here's where the story gets even more incredible. The concert raised an unbelievable amount of money. Are you ready for this? $6.25 million. That's not a typo. George Strait's one-night benefit concert raised over $6 million for flood victims. To put that in perspective, that's enough money to help hundreds of families rebuild their lives from scratch. But George Strait didn't just raise the money and disappear. Oh no, this cowboy was just getting started. A few weeks after the concert, something even more touching happened. George Strait personally started handing out $25,000 checks to families who lost everything in the floods. $25,000 per family. Can you imagine the relief on these people's faces? One of the recipients was a woman named Erin Burgess, who said something that will break your heart and inspire you at the same time. She said, "We lost everything. All I have is the four walls of my house." But thanks to George Strait's generosity and the power of country music, fans coming together, Erin and countless other families now have hope for rebuilding their lives. What makes this story even more special is that George Strait didn't do this for publicity or to make himself look good. He did it because it was the right thing to do. In a world where celebrities often seem disconnected from real people and real problems, George Strait showed us what it means to be a true leader and a genuine human being. This benefit concert and the incredible response from fans prove something that we've always known but sometimes forget. Country music isn't just about songs and entertainment. It's about community, family, and taking care of each other when times get tough. George Strait reminded us all of these values in the most beautiful way possible. But this amazing story of generosity and compassion is just one part of what's been happening with George Strait lately. While he was busy helping flood victims, he was also making other big announcements that had fans jumping for joy. Earlier this year, George Strait announced that he's extending his run of stadium shows for 2025, and he's bringing along one of the biggest names in country music today. Chris Stapleton, the 11-time Grammy winner with the voice that can make angels cry, will be joining George Strait for 5 massive stadium shows in 2025. If you've never seen these two perform together, you're missing out on something truly magical. George Strait's smooth, classic country style, combined with Chris Stapleton's powerful, soulful voice, creates an experience that country music fans will never forget. These aren't just any concerts either. We're talking about stadium shows, the kind that bring together tens of thousands of people for one incredible night. And speaking of incredible numbers, let me tell you about what happened when George Strait performed at Texas A&M's Kyle Field. He set not one but 2 records in a single night. First, he broke the record for the largest single-ticketed concert in United States history. Second, he set a new record for Texas A&M Kyle Field with 110,905 fans in attendance. Over 110,000 people. That's bigger than many cities. The show was called George Strait, the King at Kyle Field. And boy, did he live up to that title. Imagine being one of those 110,905 people, singing along to classics like All My Exes Live in Texas or Oceanfront Property with over 100,000 other fans. The energy must have been absolutely incredible. These stadium shows aren't just concerts, they're events that bring entire communities together. Families drive for hours just to be part of the experience. Parents bring their children to see a living legend perform songs that have been the soundtrack to their lives for decades. It's about more than just entertainment. It's about creating memories that will last forever. For the 2025 tour, George Strait and Chris Stapleton will be joined by some amazing special guests too. Parker McCollum, one of the hottest young stars in country music, will be joining them for SH. Aldews in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Foxborough. Meanwhile, the legendary group Little Big Town will be the special guest for the show in Inglewood. Each of these concerts is going to be unique and special in its own way. What's remarkable about George Strait is how he continues to break records and sell out stadiums even after more than 4 decades in the music business. Most artists would have slowed down by now, but not the king of country. He's still performing at the top of his game, still connecting with fans of all ages, and still proving why he earned that royal title. His Vegas residency, Straight to Vegas, has been running for years and just completed its 37th show at Allegiant Stadium. 37 shows. That's not just a concert series. That's a testament to George Strait's staying power and the loyalty of his fans. People plan their entire vacations around these Vegas shows, and they sell out every single time. But what really sets George Strait apart isn't just his incredible voice or his record-breaking concerts. It's his character. It's the way he stepped up for flood victims without hesitation. It's the way he treats his fans like family. It's the way he stayed humble and grounded despite being one of the most successful country artists of all time. In an industry that's constantly changing, where new artists come and go faster than you can learn their names, George Strait has remained a constant. He's the North Star of country music, always there, always reliable, always authentic. His latest album, Cowboys and Dreamers, shows that he's still creating new music that connects with people's hearts and souls. The title Cowboys and Dreamers is perfect because that's exactly what George Strait represents. He's the cowboy who never forgot where he came from, and he's the dreamer who turned those dreams into reality while lifting up everyone around him. When kids in Texas dream about becoming country music stars, they don't just dream about fame and fortune. They dream about being like George Strait, someone who uses their success to make the world a better place. Social media has been going absolutely crazy with praise for George Strait's flood relief efforts. His Facebook page, which has over 8 million followers, has been flooded with messages of gratitude and admiration. People are sharing their own stories of how George Strait's music has touched their lives, and now they're witnessing firsthand how he's touching lives in an even more direct way. His Instagram account, with over 3 million followers, has been filled with photos and updates from the benefit concert and the check presentations. Seeing George Strait hand those checks to flood victims, seeing the smiles on their faces, seeing hope return to their eyes, it's the kind of content that reminds us why we fell in love with country music in the first place. The ripple effects of George Strait's actions are still being felt today. Other artists are being inspired to step up and help their communities. Fans are donating to various causes because they've seen how much of a difference one person can make. The Straight to the Heart benefit has become more than just a concert. It's become a movement of compassion and generosity. Local news stations across Texas and beyond have been covering this story because it represents everything good about humanity. In a time when the news is often filled with negative stories, George Strait has given us something beautiful to talk about. He's reminded us that there are still heroes in this world, and sometimes they wear cowboy hats and sing country songs. The impact on the hill country community has been immeasurable. Families who thought they'd never recover from the floods now have hope. Small businesses that were destroyed are getting the help they need to rebuild. Children who lost their homes are seeing that there are people who care about them. This is what real leadership looks like. As we look ahead to the rest of 2025 and beyond, one thing is certain. George Strait isn't slowing down. His upcoming stadium shows with Chris Stapleton are already generating massive excitement. Tickets are selling faster than anyone expected because people want to be part of history. They want to see the King of Country in action, especially after witnessing his incredible generosity and compassion. These concerts are going to be more than just entertainment. They're going to be celebrations of everything that makes country music special: community, authenticity, and the belief that music can heal and bring people together. When George Strait takes the stage with Chris Stapleton, they won't just be performing songs, they'll be carrying on a tradition of country music that puts people first. The legacy that George Strait is building goes far beyond gold records and sold-out stadiums. He's showing us what it means to be a true country music legend. It's not just about the music, although his music is incredible. It's not just about the success, although he's achieved more than most artists could ever dream of. It's about using that platform to make a real difference in people's lives when they need it most. For young artists coming up in the country music world, George Strait has set the bar incredibly high. He's shown them that with great success comes great responsibility. He's proven that you can be at the top of your industry while still staying connected to your roots and your community. Most importantly, he's demonstrated that the measure of a true star isn't just how many records they sell or how many awards they win, it's how they respond when their neighbors are in need. The story of George Strait and the Hill Country floods will be told for generations to come. It will be passed down from parents to children as an example of what one person can accomplish when they choose to act with love and compassion. It will inspire future musicians, business leaders, and ordinary citizens to step up when their communities face challenges. As we wrap up this incredible story, it's important to remember that none of this would have been possible without the fans. The people who bought those $1,000 tickets, who donated money, who spread the word about the benefit concert, they're the real heroes of this story. George Strait may have been the catalyst, but it was the power of people coming together that created the miracle. This is why George Strait continues to be called the king of country music. It's not just a title he earned through record sales and chart positions. It's a title he's earned through his actions, his character, and his unwavering commitment to doing what's right. In a world that sometimes feels divided and disconnected, George Strait has reminded us that music really can bring people together and that one person really can make a difference. So the next time you hear a George Strait song on the radio, remember this story. Remember the floods. Remember the benefit concert. Remember the $6 million raised. Remember the families who got help. Hen, they needed it most. Remember that behind that smooth voice and those classic country songs is a man who embodies the very best of what it means to be human. The latest about George Strait isn't just breaking headlines because of record-breaking concerts or new album releases. It's breaking headlines because he's shown us what true leadership and compassion look like. He's reminded us that country music isn't just entertainment. It's a way of life built on taking care of each other and lifting each other up. And that's a story worth celebrating, worth sharing, and worth remembering for years to come. George Strait hasn't just given us incredible music for over 4 decades. He's given us an example of how to live with purpose, generosity, and love for our fellow human beings. If this story about George Strait has touched your heart the way it's touched mine, I want to ask you to do something special. Hit that like button if you're inspired by what the King of Country has done for flood victims. Share this video with everyone you know because this is the kind of positive story that deserves to spread far and wide. And please subscribe to our channel so you never miss updates about your favorite country music stars and the amazing things they're doing to make the world a better place. George Strait has shown us what it means to be a true hero, and together, we can help spread that message of hope and compassion to everyone who needs to hear it.